Hey, good afternoon to our good evening to all you wrestling fans. I'm the Godfather Soldier from Louis Fleming, and man, I'm telling you, I really enjoyed Slammiversary last night. Impact Wrestling, that was really good. Happy 20 years, man, 20 years. Yesterday was its 20th anniversary, June 19th, 2002. But I'm gonna get to that in a minute. But I'm here to give you all of my wrestling history and birthdays for today, Monday, June 20th, 2022. So here goes. First, I need to get my calculator. Okay, here are today's. Right, here's today's birthdays. Today is a happy 33rd birthday to Dejon Brown. He's from Clovis, California. Today is also a happy 36th birthday to Jessica Chris Bernard and Rena and Jessica Havoc. Today's a happy 38th birthday to Philip Pitt Cartner, better known by his rename Bubblegum. Today's a happy 40th birthday to J.R. Kratos. Today is a happy 41st birthday to Vince Mercado, better known as rename Superbad. Today is also a happy 44th birthday to Quentin Ramon Rampage Jackson, mixed martial artist, actor, and former pro wrestler. And today is also a happy 54th birthday to Masha Honda, Japanese pro wrestler. He's best known for his work in Frontier martial arts wrestling, renamed Mr. Ganosuke. And today is also a happy 65th birthday, a happy 65th birthday to the WWE Hall of Famer J.W. Ware Jr., better known as renamed as WWE Hall of Famer the Birdman Coco B. Ware, the all-time greats in the WWE. And today is also a happy 7th birthday to Benny Yarquidez, better known by his nickname the Jet. He was an MMA and he's a kickboxer, martial arts choreographer, and actor. He appeared in many movies. He appeared in also appeared in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And today also would have been the happy 82nd birthday of Hiroshi Yoda, Japanese pro wrestler, better known as renamed Yamasuke Yuta. Today's a happy 59th birthday to American pitchman, television personality, wrestling personality, currently signed to Impact Wrestling, Don West. When he said he's fighting his battle with cancer, I'm praying for him all the way. And today's also a happy 36th birthday to Shida Bieso, Jordanian TV presenter and jiu-jitsu athlete and pro wrestler. She's currently signed to Middle East with WWE. world's worst wrestling entertainment. He said WWE says it's the world's largest wrestling promotion company, but I disagree. It's world's shittiest wrestling company. But you know what? At least I hope it will change right now. WWE since Vince McMahon's new CEO. And Vince McMahon is out, and I'm glad. Okay, let's go with some wrestling history. On this day in 1872 in New York City, New York, the Harry Hills Collar and Elbow match. Homer Lane versus Pat McCormick. Yeshivon Style Browning versus Ellis. On this day in 1902 in Brooklyn, New York, at the Star Theater, John Penning versus Jim Galvin and Teddy Sitter. On this day in 1932 in Brooklyn, New York, the Coney Stadium Island, over 3,000 were in attendance. Carlos Henriquez defeated Argus Benkirk. Nino Donati and Carl Vogel fought in a 15-minute time limit draw. Sammy Cohagen, Sammy Cohen defeated Andy Meixner. George Romanoff defeated Corporal Cozy. Stanislaus Zbyszko defeated Jack Reynolds. At heavyweight, now famous welterweight, Charlie Metro and Tommy Texas fought in a 15-minute decision. Strangler Wilkinson defeated Tony Rocco. Oscar Nigerian and Joe Radocki fought in a 10-minute time limit draw. On this day in 1932 in Staten Island, New York, the Miller Field Arena, Bad Caldot and Bill Milikoff fought in a 30-minute time limit draw. Ralph Wilson defeated Joe DeVille in 28 minutes. Herb Freeman defeated Russian wrestler Mihaly Ogrevanyi. Xander Zarbo defeated Jack Burton in 30 minutes. Ishikot and Steve Zanoski fought in 32 minutes. On this day in 1932 in Patterson, New Jersey, in Market Street Arena, Cy Williams and Joe Kamark fought in a 30-minute decision. Roland Kirschmeyer defeated Tony Felice in 12 minutes. Ivan Lesnovich defeated Jack Hurley in 9 minutes. Scott McDougal defeated Norton B. Jackson in 20 minutes. Sammy Stein and no match took place between Sammy Stein and Toru Miyake. 12 minutes, the referee stopped the match due to a leg injury. I don't know who won. On this day, 1962, in Commack, New York, Sohi Baba defeated Paul Jones. On this day, 1972, from AWA, in Detroit Lakes, Minnesota, Wahoo McDaniel defeated Ray Stevens. The Magnificent Don Morocco defeated Big K. Ivan Claw defeated Ramon Torres. Kenny J defeated Rick Ferrara. On this day, 1972, in Sioux Falls, North Dakota, at the Coliseum, run by the AWA, Billy Robinson defeated Larry X. Henning in a 2-out free falls match. Nick Botwinkle defeated Bull Polinsky in a 2-out 3 falls match. Jerry Miller defeated Mark Starr. Stan Polisky and Heigo Humaguchi fought in a draw. I'm sorry for laughing. It's just something that's making me laugh. On this day, 1972, promoted by the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, now WWE, in Scranton, Pennsylvania, promoted at CYC, WWF/WWE Tag Team Champions Chief Jay Strongbow and Sonny King defeated Jimmy Valiant and the Blue Demon. Fred Curry defeated Tony Kill Steelies. Arnold Skaaland defeated Juan Caruso. Thomas Marin defeated Joe Nova. And WWF/WWE champion Pedro Morales defeated Ernie Ladd via disqualification. On this day, 1972, in Dallas, Texas, Stan Shasiak defeated Bill Corey. Bill Mescris and defeated Johnny Valentine fought in the draw. Billy Red Lions defeated Pedro Godoy. Mr. Fuji defeated Apache Gringo. Mike York and Frank Monty defeated George Scott and Tommy Sigler. On this day, 1972, in Macon, Georgia, in the Macon Coliseum, promoted by Fred Ward, not the actor, promoted by Fred Ward, different kind of Fred Ward. It's not the actor the actor who passed away early this year. From Georgia Championship Wrestling, Tim Hokagan and Oki Sheena, Rockamero versus John Sullivan, Bob Armstrong and the Avenger versus Ox Baker and Beepo, Kiyotiki versus the Assassin number 1, and El Mongol versus Assassin number 2. On this day in 1982, Minneapolis Television on promoted AWA, Rick Martel defeated Nacho Barrera, Bugs on Home defeated Pancho, Jerry Blackwell and the Sheik Adnan defeated Sonny Rogers and Terry Scholes, Rene Goulet defeated Torpedo Guzman, Ray Stevens defeated Juan Sebastian. On this day in 1982, in St. Paul, Minnesota, the Civic Center, Hollywood and Hulk Hogan defeated AWA champion Nick Bockwinkel via DQ. Tio Santana and Rick DeMar defeated Ken Patera and Bobby Duncan via DQ. Jerry Blackwell and defeated Ray Stevens. Bugs on Home defeated Jack Goulet. Brad Rangans defeated Sheik Adnan via DQ. Pat Patterson defeated Tom Stone.
Hello, Moto.
Hold on 1 second. I'll be on. I'm trying to make my wrestling history and wrestling birthdays on YouTube.
I'm in back.
I'll be on in a minute. Sorry about that, folks. Friend of mine called me on the phone. Yeah, saying Pat Patterson defeated Tom Stone. And on this day in 1982, in Columbus, Georgia, promoted Georgia Championship Wrestling, Brad Armstrong versus Pete Martin. Big John Studd versus Leroy Brown ended a double countout. The Samoans, Alpha and Seeker versus Paul Orndorff and Kevin Sullivan. Michael P.S. Hayes versus the Super Destroyer. Nature Boy Ric Flair versus Boulevard Armstrong. No, Sonny King managed the Samoans. Let's see. On this day in 1982, in the Alman Coliseum in Atlanta, Georgia, promoted Georgia Championship Wrestling, Kevin Sullivan versus Dick Chick Donovan, the Samoans versus Bob Armstrong and Brad Armstrong, the Armstrongs, Big John Studd versus Leroy Brown, National Heavyweight title match, Paul Orndorff versus Buzz Sawyer for the title, Dr. X and Super Destroyer versus the Freebirds, Michael P.S. Hayes and Terry Gordy, Mr. Wrestling in the second versus Mass Superstar by disqualification, Tommy Rich and the Dusty Rhodes versus Ole Anderson and Roddy Piper. On this day in 1992, on WCW Pro on Channel 9 in Chicago, on the match card, Dustin Rhodes versus Mark Cowell, Michael P.S. Hayes and Jimmy Garvin, the Freebirds versus the Italian Stallion and Rob Campbell, the Steiner Brothers versus Tony Trout and Rick Thames, Barry Windham versus Stunning Steve Austin, Stone Cold Steve Austin from WCW Worldwide, June 13th, 1992, Ron Simmons Damn versus Tracy Smothers. On this day in 1992, on WCW Worldwide, included Jesse the Body Ventura conducting a podium interview with Nikita Koloff, who said he received an unbelievable offer from Dangerous Alliance to join them. Then requested Paulie dangerously to come out Medusa appeared instead and told her he was not interested in joining. Cactus Jack, we know, as Mick Foley defeated Mitch Bell with a double arm DDT. WCW Tag Team Champions, the Steiner Brothers, defeated Sergeant B.L. Parker and Rob Besson when Scott pinned Parker following the Frankensteiner. John B. Bad defeated Jobber Jack, John Black with a punch to the face. Big Josh, we know, was the late. Matt Bourne, we know, was Don't the Clown in WWE. Defeated Tracy Smothers with a leg drop off the top. During the bout, Medusa was showing the eye with a clipboard making notes and scowling with each other. And WCW Light Heavyweight Champion Brian Pillman defeated Greg the Hammer Valentine. On this day, 1992, on WCW Power Hour on TBS on the match card, Sky Flamingo, we know as Raven, with JT Southern versus John Peterson, Nikita Koloff and Ricky Dragon Steamboat versus Richard Morton and Tracy Smothers, Steve Williams and Terry Gordy versus Chris Sullivan and Jerry Maggs, Big Josh, aka Don't the Clown, Matt Bourne versus Greg the Hammer Valentine. On this day, 1992, on WWF Superstars, hosted by the old piece of shit Mr. Man, Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig, God vs. Soul, including an update segment hosted by Mean Gene Oakland, showing last week's Empty Arena interview with the Macho Man Randy Savage discussing Ric Flair, with comments from Flair and Mr. Perfect afterwards, featured Gene Oakland conducting an interview with Shawn Michaels and Sensational Sherry. Discuss featured in Visionette promoting the debut of Razor Ramon, who knows late Scott Hall, God vs. Soul, included highlights from the previous Saturday World Bodybuilding Federation, which sucks, pay-per-view with clips of Gary Stratton winning the event in a consecutive year. The UK telecast featured an exclusive update segment of last week's Empty Arena interview with WWE Champion Randy Macho Man Savage, with comments from Ric Flair, Nature Boy, and Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig, where both have said that Flair was not named the number one contender for SummerSlam 92. The UK version also featured the announcement that SummerSlam 92 sold out in one day and that The Undertaker would face Carmella at the event. The Legion of Doom got with Paul Ellering defeating Tom Bennett and Barry Hardy. Papa Shango fought Chris Hahn to a no contest when Shango cursed Hahn, crushing his hand to the fire, and Hahn ran backstage. Sergeant Slaughter defeated Red Tiger via submission with a Cobra Clutch in 140-37. Repo Man defeated Brian Costello via submission with the Half Crab. Crush defeated the Brooklyn Brawler via submission with a head vice. The Undertaker with Paul Bearer defeated Dwayne Gill. WWE Tag Team Champions, the Money Incorporated, $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, and IRS with Jimmy Hart defeated jobbers Rock Warner and Butler Stevens. On this day in 1992, from our Smoky Mountain Wrestling on the match card, Danny Davis versus Rick Rogers, promo by Tim Horner, Buddy Landel versus Jerry Maggs, with interview with Buddy Landel, interview with Jim Cornette and the Heavenly Bodies, Dixie Dynamite versus Paul Lee, highlights of Brian Lee versus Dirty White Boy from last week, promo by Brian Lee, Dirty and Down and Dirty with Dutch Mantel, Paul Orndorff is the guest, interview with Paul, the Party Patrol, and the Batten Twins, the Heavenly Bodies versus Tim Horner, Robert Gibson, Smoky Mountain Wrestling Tag Team title match, interview with Brian Lee, Tim Horner, and Dixie Dynamite, interview with Jim Cornette and Heavenly Bodies. Bob Shaw interrupts them. On this day, 1992, promoted by Smoky Mountain Wrestling. At the Bluefield, West Virginia, Bluefield Auditorium, Robert Gibson defeated Joe Kazana, Dirty White Boy defeated Dixie Dynamite, Tim Horner defeated Buddy Landel, and Smoky Mountain Wrestling Tag Team Champions, the Heavenly Bodies, Lane and Pritchard, brother, that piece of shit, Bruce Pritchard defeated the Batten Brothers. Smoky Mountain Heavyweight Champion Brian Lee defeated Paul Orndorff via DQ. On this day, 1992, promoted by the USWA, USWA Tag Team Champions Moondogs versus Dan Shannon and Chris Frazier, Mean Mike Miller with Lauren Davenport versus The Shadow, and USWA Southern and USWA Texas Champion Brian Christopher versus the Hornet non-title match, and Tessa and Jeff Jarrett versus Georgia Brown and Jesse Ice. On this day in 1992, a pay-per-view event called WCW Beach Blast took place in Mobile, Alabama at the Civic Center, or 5,000 were in attendance. Then the dark match, the Junkyard Dog, Tom Zink, and Big Josh defeated the Tracy Smothers, Rich Morton, and Diamond Dallas Page. It also the pay-per-view actually featured an opening segment in which Tony Schiavone and Eric Bischoff spoke with Bill Watson on podium stage, which Watson stated Paulie, Dangerous London, and Medusa were banned from ringside during the Ricky Steamboat versus Rick Rude Iron Man match, included JR, good old JR, Jim Ross, and Jesse Bobby Ventura on commentary. Ventura was scored at exit ringside before the opening contest by four women in bikinis, featured a segment when Shiny Bag came out and introduced the rules for bikini contest between Missy Hyatt and Medusa, then telling the fans they should give a vote by calling the WCW hotline. Missy and Medusa came out to show off their evening gowns, included in a segment in which Bride brought Missy and Medusa out with their swimsuits. Featured Bischoff conducting a podium interview with Ricky Steamboat after his win early against WCW US champion Rick Rude. Moments later, Paulie, nervously known as Paul Heyman, interrupted and said Steamboat had already seen his US title shot with Cactus Jack, and then yanking Steamboat off the podium up to the top to afford the two-man brawl as security interviewed and held them apart. Included a final contest segment between Missy and Medusa. This time, Ventura was the co-host, in which Medusa was brought out their bikini moments later. Missy from within a dressing room on the set claimed someone stole her bikini and stole Virginia's head scarves. After teasing Medusa might win the contest via forfeit, Missy came out wearing a bikini in the same design as Ventura's scarves. A moment later, Bad proclaimed Missy the winner, and with Medusa complaining and shoving Bad to another dressing room, Bad later emerged holding Medusa's bikini top. It was noted that fans could still vote through midnight. As a result, will be announced the next day on the WCW main event. Featured Schiavone and Bischoff hosting the entire event from the interview platform. Then matches: Sky Flamingo defeated light heavyweight champion Brian Pillman, God with the Soul. Ron Simmons, defeated Terry Taylor, made man. Greg the Hammer Valentine defeated Marcus Alexander Bagwell, known as Buck Bagwell, via submission. And WCW World Champion Sting defeated Cactus Jack, we know as Mick Foley. And Ricky the Dragon Steamboat defeated U.S. Champion Rick Rude in a non-title 30-minute amateur match. And Barry Windham, Natural Dustin Rhodes, Nakia Koloff defeated WCW Tag Team Champion Stunning Steve Austin, known as Stone Cold Steve Austin. Arn Anderson, Beautiful Bobby Eaton, with Paulie Dangerous, known as Paul Heyman, via DQ. And Tag Team Champions, WCW Tag Team Champions, the Steiner Brothers fought Steve Williams and Terry Gordy to a 30-minute time limit draw. On this day in 1992, over 2,500 were in attendance in Indianapolis, Indiana, where I am. Wow, in the Market Square Arena. El Matador Tito Santana defeated Skinner. Rick DeMar Martel defeated Tatanka via countout. Crusher defeated Kato via submission. Road Warrior Animal defeated Blake Beverly. The Higher Energy defeated Nasty Boys via submission. Intercontinental Champion Bret the Hitman Hart defeated Shawn Michaels. The Ultimate Warrior defeated Papa Shango. On this day in 1992, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the Spectrum was 7,800 were in attendance. Texas Tornado Kerry Von Erich defeated the Brooklyn Brawler. Nails defeated Virgil via submission, the choke. The Bushwhackers defeated Double Trouble. The Nature Boy Ric Flair, Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig defeated WWE Champion the Macho Man Randy Savage via countout. The British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith defeated the Repo Man at 8-11. Natural Disasters defeated WWE Tag Team Champions Money Incorporated via countout, and The Undertaker defeated Berserker with Mr. Fuji. On this day in 2002, on SmackDown, the night before King of the Ring 2002 included an opening segment in which Kurt Angle cut a promo facing Hulk Hogan in the King of the Ring 2002, which led he and Hogan brawling in the ring. Rikishi defeated Christian. Jamie Noble defeated Billy Kidman. Triple H defeated Billy Gunn. King of the Ring qualifying match, Chris Jericho defeated Val Venus via submission with the Walls of Jericho. King of the Ring qualifying match, Test defeated Hardcore Holly. And Kurt Angle defeated WWE Champion The Undertaker in a non-title match with the roller as the champion became distracted by Triple H at the ringside after the bout. Triple H was the last man standing following the brawl with he and Hogan against Taker and Angle. On this day in 2012, on the sixth season premiere of WWE NXT aired, featuring an opening narration from William Regal. Moments later, Jim Ross was introduced. Ross then took the mic and brought out the American Dream Dusty Rhodes as an interim NXT general manager. The two of them talked at the entrance stage with Rhodes saying Tyson Kidd will face Michael McGillicuddy, we know as Curtis Axel, son of the late Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig. Later tonight included Vigilant including Bo Dallas, discussed being part of the Wyndham Rotundo family, featured a Raw 1000 segment, which Jerry Lawler discussed the debut of Mr. Sacco on the October 5th, 1999 edition of Monday Night Raw. Included Ross and Regal on commentary, featured Vigilant following the week's debut of Seth freaking piece of shit Rollins. Included Vigilant on Antonio Cesaro promoting his appearance in the following week, featured Vigilant introducing Kenneth Cameron, Conan O'Brien, Connor O'Brien as a team called The Ascension. Included Vigilant on Bray Wyatt, in which he was shown preaching in a small town saying monsters are so real, so was he. Featured a backstage segment in which Derek Bateman walked into the men's room looking for Johnny Curtis, with the two of them discussing their main event match on the following week, before Curtis washed their hands on Bateman and Shirt walked off, including a backstage segment, pre-tape segment in which Daniel Bryan urged the fans at home to not attempt to see what they see on WWE TV. Bo Dallas defeated Rick Victor. Damian Sandow fought Jason Jordan to a no contest. Ken Cameron and Ken O'Brien defeated Mike Dalton and CJ Parker. Tyson Kidd defeated Michael McGillicuddy, we know as Curtis Axel, son of the late WWE Hall of Famer Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig, via submission. And that's it for all of you today. That's my little wrestling history and wrestling birthdays for all of you today. And subscribe to me, subscribe to me, the Godfather of Soul, Justin Lewis Fleming. Hit like, make a comment on my video. And I'll see all of you this Saturday. And I do my wrestling history and birthdays for Saturday. So hit like, make a comment on my video. I'm the Godfather of Soul, Justin Lewis Fleming. I approve this message. Hope all of you had a really good Father's Day yesterday. And hope all of you have a good evening. Take it easy. Peace. I'm out of here.